Coach Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers has made a name for himself in the National Football League as a tough guy.
Ooh, tough guy.
He's a hard-nosed coach whose scowl and biting, straightforward responses in post-game press conferences give the impression that he's a man's man. But following his team's embarrassing loss to the Chicago Bears, Tomlin exposed to the world that at least for a day, he was anything but. As NFL players and teams from around the league took President Donald Trump's bait and played right into his hands in this divisive political game by demonstrating during the national anthem, Tomlin's Steelers decided to protest by not even emerging from the locker room while the country and its heroes were honored. But one of their players decided to break ranks with teammates and emerged to offer his respect of the country. Steelers offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva walked to the edge of the stadium tunnel, stood at attention, eyes filled with pride, hand across his heart while the Star-Spangled Banner was performed. He had reason to, after all. Villanueva is a former Army Ranger who spent 3 tours in Afghanistan. It's likely that when he sees the flag flying above a stadium, he's also in his mind picturing it draped across the coffins of many of his friends who didn't come back. And that's what makes this form of protest so counterproductive. It's poorly aimed, it's poorly defined, it's poorly communicated, and it was initiated by a man of very poor character. You see, because regardless of how you feel about Black Lives Matter or police brutality or Colin Kaepernick or Donald Trump, it takes an extraordinarily myopic, self-serving fool to disrespect Villanueva's motivation and his perspective. Yet intentional or not, that's exactly what Coach Tomlin did. Answering questions from the anthem-obsessed press, Tomlin said that he was looking for 100% participation in however his team acted during the anthem. When asked by a reporter what he thought about Villanueva coming out into the tunnel, Tomlin interrupted and said,
"Like I said, I was looking for 100% participation. We're going to be respectful of our football team."
Excuse me, respectful? Here you have a man who was literally willing to die for you, to whom the anthem and the flag obviously mean a great deal, and you imply that he was disrespectful for not conforming to the behavior of the rest of the team when they turned their back on that anthem and flag?
That is outrageous.
You see, Tomlin had a perfect opportunity to stand up for free speech, ostensibly what this movement has somehow morphed into. He could have said, "The guys all voted to stay in the locker room and I support them. Alejandro decided to stand and cross his heart with his hand, and I support him. Our team is united." But he didn't say that. He didn't come close. Instead, he disrespected his own offensive tackle, who happens to be a national hero, all while talking about respect.
Oh, good heavens.
And if we can be honest, precisely what does it say about the rest of that Steelers organization that not a single person in that locker room or in the front office was man enough to walk out and stand shoulder pad to shoulder pad with Villanueva? For all this talk about players standing in solidarity with each other, was there no one in Pittsburgh willing to stand in solidarity with the guy who, before he put on the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, wore the uniform of his country? That is so sad for all of us. It's why even if he felt it standing in that tunnel today and heard it in his coach's press conference, I hope Alejandro took just a moment and looked up into the crowd to notice that he was not and he will never be standing alone.